Good morning, everybody. Today's conversation is going to be on creating more time for eBay. So, if anybody has ideas or thoughts, we all have the same 24 hours in the day, but we have to become more efficient with our time so we can get more out of it. So, specifically for me, I think the biggest time waster is not having things organized for sure. If everything is in place, all my supplies are in place, everything is put away, there's nothing on my desk, all of that saves the most time. You can just do literally the work you need to do and then leave. So it's very difficult to actually set that up. That would require you the night before to put everything away and get the next day ready. So for me, the biggest time saver is at the end of the day. Also, yesterday I was not feeling the best, so I just went to sleep and I feel fine today. So getting sick would really slow me down. So I don't want to get sick. And I usually get sick if I'm overly tired. So I think prevention is always the best, but it's the most boring. So you put everything away. That's very boring. But the next day you won't have any issues and you'll make way less mistakes not having to step over things. So I wanted to give you guys um, 5 ideas, and then after that, you can either throw in the chat ways to save money, or you can I'll call on you. So number 1, the thinking of this idea of listing one item net a day. So your store grows every single day forever. So if you sell 2 items, you list 3 items. If you sell 10 items, you list 11 items. You would need a draft bank like Mark suggested in the group, where you have drafts ready to go to make sure you can sustain that. So let's say you have a 5-a-day listing habit. You probably want like 2 weeks of a queue, like 70 listings in your drafts, so that you can maintain listing more than 5 a day if 5 sell. So you want to make sure that your store amount grows every single day. So that's going to save you time, because you have to think about how to do it faster, because you don't get more time every day. So if you do that forever, you'll always make more money forever. There is no other kind of job really that you can do that. This is, if you think about it in the sense that your store has to grow by 1 item every single day, you have to get faster. The second one is, it would save everybody time if things sold faster, right? So how to actually do that is you need to improve your listings every single day. So that is very straightforward. Titles, pictures, item specifics, description. And what would improve your description? More features, more accurate condition, measurements, improving your pricing that might be higher or lower, improving your shipping policy. Free shipping is better than charging for shipping. It might not make you more money, but if it's something is $20 free shipping versus something is $14.99 and $5.01 for shipping, some people will click free shipping and not see your listing. If you have free shipping, there's no one intentionally searches for things that there is a shipping charge. So that would be better. It doesn't necessarily mean you'll profit more, but more visibility. And then return policy. The top return policy on eBay would be 60 days, 60 days free returns. Now, that doesn't necessarily, that's not something that I recommend you do. It's because you have to have enough volume to eat the cost of that. But again, that would be an improvement. Reducing clutter is so I have 5 today. Grow your store by 1 listing every single day. Improve the value of your store by improving 1% of your listings every single day. 1%. So if you have 100 listings, improve 1 listing a day. You have 500 listings, improve 5 listings a day. If you do that twice a year, you'll improve your entire store. Number 3, reduce clutter. Number 4, this one is hard, but physically check your inventory 1% a day. Look for unlisted items in your store. It's going to save you a ton of time. If you do that 1% a day, you go through your inventory 3 times a year. That's plenty. And then finally, this is like a last resort. If you guys really have slow sales, I recommend doing a bulk decrease of 5% on your entire store, because every single person who's watching your item will get an email saying there's been a price drop on that item at 5% or higher. So I don't recommend doing that unless you're really desperate for sales, because you don't need to do that to get sales. But it would just be an extra way to boost it up. Okay, so this is my 2 cents here. If you don't have time to grow your store by one item a day, check 1% of your inventory and do all these things I just said, you're growing too fast. That's my thought. If you can't go back and make sure everything is running properly, then you're moving too fast and you're gonna have to go back and fix stuff later, which is the biggest waste of time ever. Just do it right the first time and then don't go back. So the fastest way to do eBay is to do it right the first time. I wish I had known that. I thought it would be faster to try to do all these fancy things, but it's not. The fastest way is just to do all those things in order correctly. So let's start with Christine. Christine, good morning. What can we do to save time?
There we go. Good morning, everybody. What I can do to save time is get rid of a lot of my clutter. All this stuff here is the stuff I have on sale for 70% off because I'm trying to get rid of it. And I definitely need to get all the shoes out because the shoes are gone. I just don't know where to send them, where to locate them or to give them to. I don't know. I don't want to just drop them off at the Goodwill, you know. So yeah, that's going to reduce some of the clutter, and I am going to reorganize my office today. I've got all my drafts set up so that I can launch them after the call, and then I'm going to reorganize this office. I'm kind of excited about it, and I'm hoping that will save me a lot of time.
Clutter is a number one waste of time. It is for everyone. Having too much stuff in your life, like it's everything. Overeating is clutter, cluttering up your body, right? Doing too much, everything. It's just all. It's counterintuitive that a simpler life produces more results, but it's true.
It is.
Let's go with Scott Eifler. Good morning, Scott. How do we save time?
Uh, Biggest things is actually saving time. You were right on, Chris. Organization. I do the Paul Acres though. I do it in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So during this call or right after it, I am cleaning, sweeping floors, straightening, organizing, and it just makes the day flow much faster, much faster. Another big thing is organization out in the shop. I've completely switched it around for bins, numbering. I've got the new pallets set up. I think I've got 6 or 8 of them now on the wheels with the baskets on top or with the crates on top. And that is working out tremendous. So total reorganization of space.
That's great. So, do you feel like your current habits will produce clutter in the future?
It always comes back.
Okay.
I mean, I could show you my desk that was completely clean yesterday and it needs to get taken off today. And it's all some of the a return, hard to list. So what do you do with it? Easier now. It goes into another clutter bin, or it gets donated, or it gets thrown out. It's not worth the time to do it.
Okay. I'm trying to think of it's almost like I almost think you should donate or declutter 1% of your space a day. So let's say you have 100 items. That's a pretty small store. Donate 1 item a day. If you have
Absolutely.
a thousand, Scott, you have 3,000 items, so that would be 30 items a day. But if you did that, that would be tremendously huge and that's like, Christine, I wouldn't worry so much about where it's going as long as it doesn't come back into your life. Make sure you donate it at a thrift store that you don't go to, because that's just it doesn't matter. Like it's just the universe. Put it out there, and it'll be fine. It'll find a way to someone. And if you
Yeah.
have a death house, then you need to fill your car up every single day and go to the thrift store. If you have too much stuff, so go the reverse direction.
I'm not buying shoes anymore, so I won't repurchase it. Unless maybe they're my size.
I know, right? Just buy the exact shoes that you want. That's the that's also it's cheaper to buy what you want than buy something that's cheap. Always. It's almost always cheaper to just buy what you want. You know, like I used to sell cars. People would come in and be like, I'm gonna save $1,000 and buy this car. I'm like, you're not saving $1,000 because you're gonna trade it in a year earlier. Why would you do that? Just get the car that you want, even if it's not from me. Why would you save $1,000 and then trade your car in 4 years earlier and lose $8,000? You know, it's about how long you keep the item. You buy a sweater and wear it for 10 years. How much does that really cost you per use? Like nothing. So think about forever. That's why I want you guys to think about increasing your store forever. Why not? You don't have more time. You just have to set up systems so it can grow for you. So you guys know I really love Gary Keller. He says the highest level of entrepreneur can have his company grow, he or she have their company grow without them being there. So that would mean you hire someone that grows your store. So that would be like if this group of people here was my company, I would be like, okay, Matt's my operations manager. Every day, Matt's going to give me a report of how long it took him to process all the items. And I'm going to say, Matt, you get paid a little more money if every single day it improves by a minute. And over the course of a year, we should be 6 hours faster than when we started today, right? Done. Then I would say to you, Scott, you're my buyer. Every single month, your job is to buy more stuff than the previous month or better margin stuff than the previous month, right? Then you would sign a contract. And I would tell Christine, you're in charge of removal. So every day you're removing X amount of junk into the dumpster or not dumpster, the recycling area that goes to 6 different thrift stores so we can spread out the wealth. Go ahead.
If we're talking about decluttering our inventory, like I said, all of those boxes behind me are women's clothing. Now, whenever I got rid of all of my hard goods, my store decreased by 240 items, 238 actually. Mm-hmm. And that affected my traffic because my store got smaller. And then it's taken me this long to get back up to almost 740, 750. Mm-hmm. I can't remember. Anyway, items in my store. So how would you guys go about getting rid of this stuff without taken that big chunk out? Like the shoes are already out of my inventory. They're already gone.
It's okay for your store to shrink. Because as long as it grows every day, it'll be back to where it's at shortly. You have a smaller, more efficient store.
Okay.
Like let's say if you had you have how many items? 300. What'd you say?
In my store right now,
mm-hmm.
I have 764.
Okay, so 764. If you were to remove 1% a day, so that's like 8 items. So you donated 8 items out of your store every day. That's hardcore because that would be you donating items that you've already spent the time listing. But if you did 7 and then you listed 8 plus whatever sold for the day, it wouldn't take very long before your entire store is all items that you really like, that are really good quality, listed perfectly. So don't worry about your store shrinking. That will happen. People in this group that they start doing everything properly, their stores start to shrink. It's okay. It's hard. It's hard to grow your store. What you don't want is your store to grow, but nothing sells. Mm. That is bad. It's completely fine for, I can't keep up. My store keeps shrinking. That's fine. That's not actually really a problem.
Okay, so then what about the idea of if I have 700 items in my store, 7 items will sell? So that's what I'm afraid of. That keeps running in my head.
Afraid of versus you have to replace the 7? Huh? You have to is the worry is you have to replace those 7 items that sold, or what's the worry? What's wrong with 7 items selling?
If I go down to 400 items, only 4 items will sell that day.
Okay, so all you have to do is list 7 items and it won't shrink.
Okay.
No, I know, but that's a good question. That's true because but that's That's what it is. In fact, but based on what I just told you, you'd have to list 8 items because I don't want your store to go in reverse, right? I want it to grow bigger, so because your income will grow. Because at 400 items, you have less of an opportunity to make money than 700. So no, but Christine, that's important to think about. Just replacing what you sell plus 1. Let's go with Thomas. Thomas, good
Oh, hi.
afternoon.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah, time management's a big thing for me. But yeah, stock control and organization, I guess. For me, it's about clearing my headspace and to plan things out. I think like if I plan it out and have a structure for the day, I'm more likely to keep to that schedule. Where if I got too much going in my head, I tend to forget things. Like yesterday, I forgot to pick my child up from school. When it rang me, I was like, "You need to pick a little one up," and it totally slipped my mind because I was so focused on other things that I needed to get done. The other things kind of replace them thought processes. So for me, it's about headspace and getting my head clear. And the only way I find I get my head clear is by putting it down on paper, saying this is what I need to do today, and just make sure I hit them targets. Then if I exceed that and do a little bit more, then it's a bonus.
Somebody just put in the chat that to save time, sell in less categories. That's a similar thought. It reduces mistakes too. Mistakes are really expensive. So go ahead, Thomas.
Yeah, mistakes already. I mean, I'm trying to niche down now. Anyway, I was a sell everything kind of store. My worry about donating, just going back to what Christine said about having the worry of it affecting her daily sales. I agree a little bit with that because I've had stuff in my store that might have been in there for a very long time, and then all of a sudden I start listing or increasing my listing, and I find that stuff that I thought was dead stock then starts to sell. So it's quite odd on that. I would be worried about taking stuff out of my store that could potentially, sell after a period of listing. I don't know.
You know, hmm. That so wait a minute. They ended up being dead stock. They weren't listed.
No, they were listed, but they weren't selling. And then all of a sudden, just at the back end, they sell. Usually, when I increase my listings or increase, what I'm doing, my activity on eBay. If I'm constantly continuous on eBay, then I find that things are continuously selling on the platform. But yeah, so stuff that I think is dead and not actually moving tends to shift. I was talking to back from burnout,
Yeah, Mel.
Mel, and she said the same thing as well. She said, she had a load of books and stuff that she was listed for ages, and then when she got her VA and she started listing consistently every day again, the stuff that she thought was dead stock and wasn't going to shift started to sell. So I don't
see.
know. I just think if you concentrate, like if you prioritize and concentrate on listing and sourcing good stock, I think the older stuff will eventually shift. And if you're struggling to shift it, like you say, you could do a 5% bulk reduction sell or reduce your price by 5% to try and shift it. I mean, that's just my thought. I'm quite reluctant to take stuff out of my store that I think is dead stock because what I think is not very good, somebody might think is good.
I just want to clarify. I was thinking dead stock meaning brand new, but dead stock you're meaning stock that is dead and may not sell ever. So
Yeah.
I understand that meant that always works. If you start selling, if you list consistently, the oldest items in your store will start to sell, and I don't know if that's eBay rewarding you for continuously being active, but it'll also come in waves. For example, let's say you listed 4 items a year ago at the same time. Sometimes 3 of those 4 items will sell 14 months later randomly, but all right next to each other. And I feel like the traffic is based on sometimes when you list as well, because oftentimes there's clumps of my sales that are right next to each other that are listed because they'll be in the same area. And that's, is that coincidence, or is that just something to do with dead stock becoming a live stock again? It's turned on again by eBay once you reach a certain
It's funny
amount of
though, because
activity.
I was looking through my traffic yesterday. I was just having a look at some stats, and I noticed that a lot of my stock don't really get that many impressions. Like, it's weird. Like, I've got stuff that's in there that has no data at all on impressions, and then I have others that are green and others that are red. It's funny because it 1 minute, eBay will tell you that it's not selling, and then you start listing, and all of a sudden it sells. I don't know. It's odd.
So one more thought. If you guys have, let's say you get an offer or somebody asks a question for the item, and then you go in there and answer the question, and later when you look in your store, that item is moved to the top.
Yeah.
Activity makes an item, renews an item. So if you get a question or an offer on an older item, it moves it up the algorithm. So it's possible that something is trending too, and then your item starts to get more views than normal, and it starts to sell. So it is.
Yeah, I find it's not only just activity and listing. The way that the Cassini algorithm I find that works for me is it's just being active, and you could do that at any time. If you're like, even if you're running a bath for the kids or whatever, you can answer a message for somebody, or you can end and relist an item that you think's not selling or whatever. But I find that being continually active definitely 100% produces more sales, and that's not necessarily in listing, that's in everything. Leaving feedback for bought items as well, answering messages, all that kind of good stuff.
So this is interesting. Somebody in the chat put, do I focus on sold listings or active listings? And the reason why I focus on active listings and not sold, because people say, oh, well, why do you care about how many items are listed? It's just about how many items you sell. The thing is, if you have more active listings, you have more items that sell. I know that sounds obvious, but maybe it's not obvious to people who get so sucked into the result that they don't focus on the things that push the result. So if every single day you look at the scale and you don't see it moving up and down, that's not going to help you to look at the scale for an extra hour a day. You have to do the things that move the scale. You have to eat less or exercise more to get the scale to change. So listing more is exercising more or eating less. That's what it is. So when, like, right now I have I have like $1,600 or $1,700 a day in sales. I know that when I reach 17,000 listings, I should have at least $2,000 a day in sales. So it's been proportional. My traffic graph looks almost identical. So it's just like, I know that eBay will throttle you. They will not let you sell every single one of your items every single day. I'll show you guys. I'll show you my traffic chart. It looks almost the same every single day.
Wow.
So it doesn't change that much, and it slowly creeps up. So like now, it slowly creeps up. Let me see if I can get this to. It's slowly creeping up to, like, I sell between 80 and 120 items a day, and it just slowly creeps up. And I'm right. It just doesn't go up quickly. It goes up slowly. So you have to just slowly. That's why I'm saying grow your store by 1 item a day. Because if you grow your store by 10 items a day, eBay is not going to give you that proportional traffic. They just give you a little bit more traffic for a little bit more effort. Because like the only time I see people getting a really, really spike in sales is the first day of promoted listings. If you do promoted listings, the first day you'll have a spike, but then after that it goes away. So it's not, there's nothing fast about eBay. It's like really slow. So Thomas, back on your consistent part. And I think a lot of people burn themselves out on, like, you don't have to do a lot. You just have to be consistent. So you don't have to be crazy active in your store, just a little bit active in your store, and it'll be fine. So people are beating
Yeah, I
themselves
find
up. Go ahead.
find it's proportionate. You know, I try not to focus. I mean, I'm trying to list. I'm trying to list a lot at the minute because I had a period where just had some personal issues. I couldn't list for a few days, and my sales dropped by 24%. But I know
Yep.
it's funny because I was talking to my wife about that. I said, "Oh, my sales have dropped by 24% this week." She went, "Oh, that's not a lot." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Well, in proportion to what you sell each month, that's only 3 extra sales. That's not. It's not a massive amount." I think
Mm.
like it's really hard, like when you're a small eBayer like myself, when you're new, um, to look at these big negative numbers and go, oh no, I'm 30% down, I'm 24% down. But I only sell 80 units a month. So that's only 20 units a week. You know, so if I'm down 25%, 24% from last week, that's only 3 or 4 units of sales. So, you know, 4 more sales and I'm back in the green. So I try not to look too much as a small store. It kind of the impressions or statistics and stuff like that. I just try and focus on being consistent in my activity, and that's not necessarily in my listings. That's just general overhaul, just making sure my store's clean. I've got 100% feedback. I only got 350 feedback. But I have some awesome feedback from customers saying amazing communication, great communication. You know, because I continually answering questions and communicating with people that buy from me, saying thank you for your purchase. You know, don't forget to visit my store again. I have this offer on this pair of jeans. I saw whatever. Just being active and friendly, and just being consistent in that area, not just in listing, but in overall. And I feel eBay rewards me for that. You know, I could have a no sell day and then just go on my phone, answer a few messages, and fill in some feedback. Then all of a sudden, I get 2 or 3 sales,
You know what's
and that
interesting? What's
and I've not
interesting,
listed
Thomas?
anything. I've just, you know,
If you grow your store large enough, you can't have a no sale day. This is interesting. I was just thinking about it's it's really not possible to not for me to not sell 50 items a day because the store is so big. It's like there's so many opportunities to make money that it's not possible. So when I learned that from tech and sports, when you have a store that's so big, it's not possible to not have a lot of sales when you have a lot of items. If you have a few hundred items though, you can have a day that you have no sales and it's very discouraging, or a few days. And you mentioned that a personal issue popped up and that derailed you a little bit and it made it so you couldn't list for a few days. That's maybe the number one time saver, is to make sure all your relationships and your health are in check and do the best you can, because personal issues destroy your business. You can't recover. Let's say like if you have any relationship in your life that's important to you is screwed up, it will mess up your listing habit. You have to be emotionally stable in order to consistently grow your store, because it's so hard. Like it's
I tell you
so hard.
what you said a second ago about having this one's draft. Yeah, by having having listings in the bank, you know,
Yeah,
that's a really handy thing to have for
absolutely.
you know, if you're having an emergency or something comes up that you have to deal with, and it means that you can't be active for a few days, then you've got the listings there, so you can kind of throw up real quick, so your business doesn't suffer as a result. Because at the end of the day, the consumer doesn't care that you're having personal issues; they want their jeans, right? So you just
That's
got
right.
to
And
throw them up.
that what you just mentioned was brought up last night in text call, which was, you said you had those drafts so you could put them up quick. But I've changed my language. I now have drafts so I can stay consistent, because I no longer care about quick. Quick equals defects. I don't want
Yeah,
quick. I only want to be married one time. I'm just
amen.
trying to do it like forever.
My wife, oh sorry, my daughter had a glass of water yesterday, and she opened up the faucet and it just went everywhere. And I had to show her, she's only 3, so I showed her how to fill a glass of water. I said to her, you don't need to turn the tap on full, because if you do that, you'll just make a mess. It won't go in the cup. It'll be a mess. Just turn it on half a turn and slowly fill the cup up. And it's a bit like that with eBay. You can't just go full throttle. You can't just turn on the tap on full, because all that water, all that effort is just going to escape out the glass. It's just going to go everywhere. You're going to get soaked. It's going to be a mess. You just want to turn the faucet on a little bit so it drips away and just gradually fill that pool up, you know, and then you'll have a pool of water there and you can just go dive in and swimming in, and it's going to be awesome. So, you know, I've made hundreds of mistakes, which is great for me, you know, because I don't like to make the same mistake twice. So the more mistakes I make, I find that as it's quite rewarding for me, you know. So yeah, I'm just trying to keep it real. Just keep the faucet on, not have it blasting too much, work within my means, work within my capacity, and watch the store grow. So that's kind of what I'm doing.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. Let's
Cool.
go with Brian Vent. Good morning, Brian. How can we save time?
Good morning. Actually, I made a change this morning that's saving me time. It was kind of stupid. Like, I have a storage unit, and normally I get up, get my coffee, then I go pull my orders from the storage unit to ship out. And it's usually dark, and so I've been like holding a flashlight and like trying to pull bins, and it was slow and just wasn't working. So I bought one of those headlamp lights.
Mm-hmm.
I put that thing on this morning and I turned it on, and it probably cut my time to pull orders in half. I was like, why didn't I think of this sooner? Because obviously I have both hands now. So that was a small thing that is saving me time. And that's kind of where I want to be. I want to like look for those little bitty things. You were talking about who's the author of The One Thing, and I found their podcast, and their podcast, it's all about that. So
it's so
like,
good.
Yeah, that's kind of my mind shift now. I think I used to, you know, before we started talking all these things, it's like, however I did something the first time, whether it was good, bad, or in between, was just how I did it. And I really didn't think about it any further. But now it's like a mind shift change. It's like, okay, well, is there a better way? Like, in my setup, I've been measuring my clothes in a different room. And I'm like, okay, so I got another storage unit. So I'm going to move one of the tables out of the way in here where I list, so that my workflow will be better. So I can measure and it goes straight to get hung up and photographed. So just little things is what I'm looking for.
The headlamp is a really good help. It's good for everything. It's even good if like even if you have good lighting in the room, it allows you to just pick up defects better. Like when I did Pokemon cards, you need to get a bright lamp that's just right above where you're working so you can see the defects. That's a huge, easy improvement. Everyone get better lighting where you are describing your items. You will find way more defects. And that is when you're picking, even in a room, because the bins and boxes can be dark, having a headlamp, they're literally like $9 for a set of two on Amazon. 2 headlamps for $9, and you just saved 10 minutes a day at least.
Yeah, I was struggling so much. I had like my flashlight in one hand and, you know, holding a bin in the other, and bins were falling, and it was such a simple fix and saved so much. I'm like, I couldn't believe how quick I was done this morning. I'm like, holy cow.
I love it. Let's go with the other Christine. Christine Treno, good morning. What can you do to save time?
Good morning. For me, it's probably the same as organization, because my stuff's kind of all over the place. So if I have to pull stuff to ship, I'm going from one end of the house to the other. So I'm been trying to get it organized all to one room. So that's kind of my goal right now.
All in one room is a great idea. And for everyone, me having a little bit of extra space, so they recommend 30% of your space in any workspace has nothing in it. That's very hard. Imagine 30% of every room being empty, but that's how you are the most efficient. No one works well when everything's crammed together and you can't move and can't think and it's uncomfortable. Patty's saying you would love a type A partner to keep you organized. Do you want to?
Meaning if I had a partner in the business.
Oh, in the business. I got
Yeah,
you.
no,
What
my
about,
husband's,
is he
my
type A?
husband, oh God, no. No, not at all. My husband and I are both like a hot mess. Everybody's always like, oh, he's been in the military for so long, you think he'd be like all neat and organized and everything else. And I was like, no. I'm like, he's an infantry officer. He'll sleep anywhere, eat anything. Like it, you know,
So
like that stuff
what is
doesn't
it?
bother
What is
him.
it about type A that you want in a partner?
Oh, I would, I mean, I always say I would love to be like organized and on top of stuff. My husband says I'm the person who has like the great ideas.
Yeah.
And then I come up with like these fantastic plans. And then I just kind of look at somebody and say, okay, you go do that. Like, you know, you figure out how to do it,
Yep.
you know, and I'll tweak it for you. But I'm not the, I guess you could say, yeah, I'm not the operations person. I don't know.
I'm
But
so glad that you brought this up because high level eBay thinking is only required like the first 3 days of eBay. So what you need is like a dedicated photo area, right? You need a dedicated shipping area. This is high level. Then you just need to work for 363 days, 2 days of setting it up, and then the rest of the year is just work. And that's why I was thinking that too. I'm like, I don't want to be a high level thinker. I just want to be a worker. It's not actually that high level I feel like my high level thinking is like a marijuana high. It's not useful. It's just like, it's nice. It
yeah.
feels nice, but I'm not getting anything done. The type A is like on top. I'm seeing on top of things and organized. I'm just trying to think because
So like
go ahead.
I was gonna say like a buddy of mine has a big landscaping business, and we took the kids over there. This was like quite a few years ago. You know, it was Boy Scouts. You know, show the boys how to change a tire. And you go in his garage, and everything is in its place. Like everything is clean. He's telling the kids, you know, you wipe off your tools before you throw it. You know, you put them away, and
Yeah.
you know, make sure you have them all organized like this. I mean, we're the family where, you know, you go out to the garage and there's 6 rubber mallets. It's like, why do you have 6 rubber mallets? Well, because, you know, we couldn't find it the 5 other times that we needed it, you know? So, I mean, that's what I mean. But I do want to put a picture of my photography table up there. I'm kind of getting like 2 dark corners, like up on the top. And if people could give me maybe suggestions on how I could correct that, so I don't really have to edit my photos. I'm trying just to like take the photos. They're you know, they're good, and I don't have to edit them that much. But I can't attach a file in the chat here for some reason. So
Put it in the Facebook group, and
okay.
we'll help you. I mean, a lot of people are excited for me when I do the new setup with no editing. It'll take a couple of days to really set it up, and then once it's set up, it's set up. And
Well,
go ahead.
I mean, my wannabe type A personality is that I really liked all my photos when I was, you know, using my phone, and I was able to use the editing, you know, and it had the white background and everything else.
Yeah.
But where that bottlenecked me up is, you know, then my husband or my son, to help me, they can't use my phone to take photos while I'm out or while I'm doing stuff.
Mm.
So that's why I had it all set up with the camera. And it's also extremely faster for me just to take out the memory card, stick it in my computer, and then when I'm listing, I just hit, you know, click on these 8 pictures, and then they're uploading, and I can finish the listing, and then I'm done. It's a lot faster. So while I you know, admire and love the clear white background and how nice and neat it looks, it's just not practical.
You know, it's interesting. You know, that is. Thank you for sharing that, because that is it's way easier said than done to have a simple process. But let's go with Cheryl. Do you have some feedback?
Yeah, I just got one of these reflector things. It was like 15 bucks. I wish I'd have gotten one that's slightly bigger, but it has really helped get some of those shadows out that I was dealing with, because I'm the same. I'm not editing. I want it as clear and white as I can get it, but I'm not gonna, what it is. I'm not gonna do anything else to it. So I put this, like this one, I'm putting, when I'm doing the flat lays, I have it above and it kind of reflects the light back onto the table. And then if I'm doing hanging ones, I kind of hang it up on the wall and it reflects the light back. So might be something to think about. I got it on Amazon.
So when I ask people what do they need help with on their eBay business, most of the time they answer organization. That's a top answer. Being organized would help me list more. That's an interesting thought. Maybe I'll do some thinking on how do we all become a little bit more organized, because that seems to save the most time. Dave, can you chat? Dave's 510.
Yeah, I'm here.
Morning, Dave. What's going on?
Good morning. Just trying to learn as much as I can from you guys.
How can you save time?
I need to become more organized. I know that for a fact. Right now, doing everything and tripping over my obstacles, learning them one by one, and trying to quickly or as fast as possible research the best way to get through that hurdle in a more efficient way. I really think I'm struggling with the picture process most of all. I work a lot, different types of things, so I feel I'm also scattered too. So more organization overall would be the best asset.
You know, that's I think I'm trying to think here of the photos seems to trip up. How many people in the group or online are having problem with photos? Maybe that is a.
I have a suggestion, Chris.
Go ahead, Thomas.
So with photos, I've started using the photo editing app, and I find it's taking me forever to edit photos. A lot of people could do it quicker. But I find just having a plain white background, and then I don't know what sort of phone you got, but with an iPhone, you can turn up the brightness a little bit, and that tends to make the whiteness of the background whiter and makes your photos pop a little bit. I haven't got that on a Samsung. I've got a Galaxy Note 9, but the first filter on my options when I take a picture in a 1.1 aspect ratio also does that as well. But I find just turning up the brightness a little bit on your phone just really makes the background whiter and clearer.
I think it's more the actual process that I'm struggling with, because I'm using a Surface Pro OneDrive. So I'll take the pictures. I think my pictures are great. My editing's, I think, on point, but it's just the process of I'm using a white background and the circle lamp for proper lighting, and I think the editing's good. It's just the process from cleaning to staging to uploading them through OneDrive and then capturing them on eBay's side, clicking them all and then waiting for them to populate. But I'm scrolling down the whole way to start clicking them. I mean, there's got to be an easier way. I'm using a Samsung S10 Lite as far as the phone goes, and a Surface Pro. I'm not a Mac guy right now.
Yeah, it takes me about 7 minutes to do a listing from floor to poly, including photos. But I think the way I've speeded it up is do my photos at the same time. So I would generate a draft, take the photos for that draft, enhance the brightness or whatever I need to do, then upload them photos, and then while the photos are uploading, I start my second draft. And by the time I finish my second draft, the photos are complete on the first draft, and then I can execute that listing and take the photos for the second one, and then I just repeat that process. I find it's quicker to do the photos in, you know, with the listing at the same time, rather than just bulk photoing and then bulk drafting. But I mean, that's a personal opinion. I mean, I know.
Are you using OneDrive, Tom?
No, I don't. I just use my phone. I use the Google. I use the eBay app. I know it's it's created for sellers. Sorry, for buyers. But I use that for photo population only. So I create my listing on the laptop, and then I use my phone to take the pictures, then upload the pictures straight to the draft. And then while they're uploading, I create the second listing on the laptop, then take the photos, and I just do that.
Right on. Is anyone else experiencing their OneDrive? They keep getting warnings that you're almost at capacity. I feel that I have half of my capacity left, but it's really becoming much slower of a process. And I'm not sure if a simple upgrade will fix my problem with speed. If anyone else can kind of chat on that or leave a note, I'd appreciate it.
It's really interesting about the Dropbox, because I've been thinking about using that system, creating CSV files, because my brother created an amazing spreadsheet for me where it's got macros and it puts all my information, like my listings, onto the spreadsheet. And he's working out, he's a software developer and a programmer, on how to transfer that data onto a CSV file, then upload that CSV file straight onto eBay. But it will take the photos directly from Dropbox. But I've not used Dropbox for photos before, so I'm kind of looking into that. But yeah, like I said, for me, I just snap and upload and create drafts. That's that.
Right on, Tom. Thank you. And Paul and Christina, I saw your feedback. I appreciate that. I have been deleting the photos. Again, I'm just wondering if there's a way around having to housekeep with your photos before being slowed down. And maybe it's a upgrade through OneDrive. I'm sure they've got that in their plan. Slow them up, have them beef up the upgrade or whatever. But thank you, everybody.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
I had this problem yesterday, and so I got my wife, who's a little more tech savvy than I am, to come in and show me how to delete, like, for a whole day. So, like, at the end of the day, you can what you do is you click on the first photo, you hold shift button, click on the last photo. So you click on the first photo, hold the shift key, and then click on the last photo, and then click
It'll wipe
delete.
out everything in between.
Yes, it'll wipe out the whole day.
Coolness.
Yeah, and you could probably do that for all the photos you've gotten to this point. That way you don't have to upgrade. And then once you learn how to do it, you just do it every day. It's second nature.
Hey, that's a great little tip. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, I had this just yesterday, and I was so frustrated with it. But anyway.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
My photo process takes a long time, but it's identical every time. So it sometimes the fastest way would be to do it the same way every time. So however you do it, I just put a tutorial in that I made a long time ago for simple white photos with no editing. It's just bit.ly/pure white photos. That's when I sold shoes. You can make that setup for under $20, and it takes perfect photos. It's just essentially a white vinyl. Marine grade vinyl, in my opinion, is the best because you can wipe it off. You never need to replace it. It's durable. It's waterproof. Marine grade vinyl, and just adjust the brightness. Paul, you have a question?
Yeah, that's what I use. I actually got a bigger piece yesterday to put on the floor, but my thing is that I'd like to see how you get your clothing photo set up off the floor, because my back is not the best. It's not what it used to be. And then plus, if I hire somebody to do photos, I want them, even if they're a little older, they can do the photos. They can stand and do it instead of having to get down on the floor.
Yeah, I basically used Matt's idea of the vertical flat lay, and I copied his sticky fabric, although you don't need sticky fabric. You could use pins, or you could use Lewis and go really fancy and use magnets. That's really cool. But
Do you guys have a video like on what
yeah,
what you use?
I'll try one. Yeah, I'll make another video of the process of maybe I'll, because my process is not the easiest. It's just easy to replicate.
Yeah.
The easiest is flat lay. There's nothing easier than that. That's the easiest, but then that requires you either bending over or you setting up a vertical version of it.
Yeah, I'm having some back problems right now. So the vertical for me, do you use an easel? Is that what you did?
I just right now I've tried a drafting table because I got that idea from somebody, but right now what I have is a piece of canvas, a painting canvas. I recommend you go to Hobby Lobby or something, get one that's like 4x6, or you can use a piece of plywood. It's just
Okay.
leaned against the wall. That's it. There's not. It's literally a piece
at
of wood
mine.
against the wall. Yeah. See, Travis has one.
Let me
It's
see.
literally all it is. I stand, I can put,
I can't see you, Travis.
can you see it?
Yeah, you guys should be able to see Travis. No.
No.
Switch to the gallery view on the top right. You guys should always be using gallery view, by the way.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So you can see how it
Oh, no,
sticks. Travis, is that the material?
Yep. It's
Oh, okay.
same
So
exact
it's
as,
the table. So it's your table up against the wall, and then you put the piece of plywood up there.
I went to Menards and just got some callwood because they have that cheap white board that's beat up and whatever.
What's it called?
If you go to it, so callwood, it's like their wood that's damaged.
Oh,
And they
okay.
a lot of times have, and that's like the cheapest plywood or whatever board you can get. It's at Menards, Home Depot, all that. It's just called callwood. It's damaged.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've got some laying around.
Yeah, whatever you got, and then just that what do you call it? Fabric, Chris?
It's utility fabric.
Yep. And then it's just
Oh,
throw it
how do
on
you
there,
get?
take a picture.
Do you guys take a picture of the ruler measurement in the? You put the ruler in the somehow in the photo, like
I personally don't, but a lot of people do.
okay. You just type yours in.
I type mine in, but it's annoying because I think the best way to do it would be to type it in and take pictures of it, because there's people who don't look at all the pictures and there's people who don't read the description. So if
Does
you wanted to
anyone-
eliminate
sorry.
all the questions, you would have it everywhere and in the item specifics. If you want to go hardcore, you would do all of it.
Travis, do you get the ruler to stick to the fabric somehow?
It sticks if
Yes.
you use it.
Just a regular wooden yardstick?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Thomas?
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, sorry. Paul, have you heard of a website called Sizely? SIZLE.
Yeah.
No.
Sizely is
Well,
cool. Yeah,
With
I'll put it in the
Sizely,
chat.
yeah, with Sizely, you can get templates, and if you can play with it first free, okay, and you can get templates, and you basically put the information of your clothing onto the templates, and then upload the photo, and then upload the template straight onto your photos. I was using it. I've stopped using it recently because of my brother's developing me something. But when I was using it, it's fantastic. It's called Sizely. But yeah, Chris said I'll put it up in a way in the chat. So it's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ed, do you have some feedback?
Yeah, I've got some suggestions for saving time.
Okay.
I've been listening to you guys talk, and I'm thinking probably the biggest time-saving thing I ever did was to take 2 hours and build a photo booth. It's maybe I should take a picture of it and put it on
100%,
Facebook. But
100%. I agree with you.
right.
Yeah.
I just got online and looked for one, and it cost me maybe $40, but my defect photo rate got cut in half the first day. That was just huge. I hardly any retakes. The second one that was that I'm kind of in the middle of right now is I drew a picture of my work area, like quick, dirty picture of like the tables and stuff. And then I drew like all the places I walked during the course of the day. And I could hardly finish it because it bothered me so much that I spend so much time walking around. So based on that chart, I started rearranging things so I didn't have to walk around so much, because you waste a lot of time walking around.
That's great, Ed. Would you
Right.
would you send a picture of that to us?
Okay,
Something.
yeah, I'll try
It's
to get
something.
both those. I'll take a picture of my photo booth and my map. And
You know what?
the
You know
third
what's
one,
really funny? Just sorry to interrupt.
sorry,
Everyone's photo booth is a little bit different. So just
right.
you decide the standard of photos that you want first. What photos do you want? Then make the photo booth to create that. That's because if you copy somebody else's photo booth and you don't want those pictures, you're going to be really disappointed. Decide what pictures you want and then make it. If you want to highly, I think I put it in my video yesterday that Serena Williams, the tennis player, if you Google her Poshmark closet, those are perfect photos in my opinion. There's nothing fancy. It's just hung on a wall. So it depends on what you are going for, but don't copy somebody else's photo system if you don't know what photos you want. If you know what photos you want, tell me and I'll tell you how to take the photos.
I do.
It's like, go ahead.
I do that. That's what I've been doing. That's one of my improvements right now is a photo booth. What I want is I don't want to edit my photos. I want to take the best quality photo I can without editing. I have it standardized and have it so that it's duplicatable. I can show somebody, okay, you do these 8 steps and you're done, and then put it to the side, put it over here, and then start over again. So I want the best looking one without having to edit.
I can't believe there's like 400 people either on this call or listening to this. That's so many eBay sellers. So anyway, does anybody want to host the call? Because I have to go. But it sounds like everyone's getting some value. Okay, I'll give it to Matt. Matt, when you feel that the call has reached its pinnacle, go ahead and end it. Let's see. Let me make you the admin. Oops.
Is anybody ready for a 5-hour show?
I know, right? You can go for 5 hours if you really want to.
Hey, Matt.
See. Yeah.
Matt, I got one more tip. It's little, but this is probably my favorite one. I have one of my monitors that'll go vertical. It's just a cheapie. It's probably a 20-inch, but I switched it to vertical. And when I list, it's so much less scrolling. I don't know how much time it saves me, but I absolutely love not having to scroll.
Man, I like that tip. I love that. I've thought about that before, and I have like never actually taken the time to try to figure out how to do that with the monitor. But yeah,
the settings are easy. The hard part is not many monitors have a hinge in the back that lets you rotate. But we're talking not much money here, $50.
I'm gonna straight look at my monitor to see if I can do that right after this call. I do it right now, but I'm looking at you guys on it.
But the settings are built in everyone's computers. If you got Windows 7 or 10, it's already in there. No big deal.
It's those little things you have to do 100 times a day that you're like, why do I have to keep doing this? That you're like, was gonna in the long run to save you a lot of time.
My monitors are on the those arms, so they'll turn. But I want a third one. I want a third one that I can do the vertical with and then have the 2.
My goal is to have 2 monitors. On the left, all my photos, and on the right, my listing vertical.
I like that. I want the opposite, but opposite sides, but yes, exactly.
Hey Ed, do you drag the photos into the box on the listing, or do you hit the button and then select the photos and then hit enter?
If I'm at home and my internet connection is good, I drag. But at my shop, when my internet connection is poor, I load properly with opening a window.
Okay.
Are you guys on
I'll figure-
Microsoft or are you on Apple Mac?
I have a PC.
Yeah, that's what I have.
But yeah. I'm thinking with the dual monitors, it might be easier just to have the folder with all the pictures on the left, and then you can just highlight and drag into the listing instead of
That's
having to
what I-
open another window every listing.
That's what I started doing yesterday. So if you, let's say you got 10 photos, what my wife showed me to do is you click on the first photo, hit shift, and then click on the last photo, and then drag that. And then when you drag that last photo, you notice it's got the number of photos in there, and then it just uploads them all.
Gotcha. Would anybody like to hear my tip for how you can save time and get better?
Let us
It's a
have
good
it.
one.
Of course.
Well, from now on, I'm going to start sucking my way to the top. Vacuum sealing.
Is that the future?
You're going with the vacuum sealing, huh?
Yes. I got this pair of jeans. This is a big, heavy pair of jeans, by the way. And I got it that thin by putting a cinder block on it while the vacuum sealer was running.
Nice.
Yeah. So now I can go from probably around 400 to probably around 800. I literally doubled the amount of things I can fit in my new hanging storage area. So yeah, that's just on one 20-foot long shelf. And it's going to be 5 shelves high.
Where did you get that, Matt? And how much did it cost?
The vacuum sealer was like $250. I got this idea last Thursday or something. And I just said, you know what? I got to buy one. I got to try it out. I can't just keep thinking about it. So I just bought like a $250 one, one of the first ones I saw, a roll of bags, and it works so well. Now all I have to do is keep the machine, get the right size bags, and make it fast.
Are the
What did
bags
you just say to
expensive?
ship?
Sorry, I didn't hear either of you. What'd you say?
Are the bags
Go ahead.
expensive? How much do they cost?
I have a feeling I can get the bags fairly cheap. I'm not 100% sure yet, but if you buy them like retail, they're less than 50 cents a piece. So I think wholesale bulk, I can get them maybe like 15 cents a piece or something.
I would check out Uline, Matt, because they're not on the roll though. And you get much more. Being on the roll is great. I've got some, and quite frankly, I've been using my food saver as the bag. It's what I had.
That's what I have.
That's what I've been using for some of mine.
Yeah, I don't have a food saver brand machine, but it's the same kind of machine. It's got the bar sealer and everything. But yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna go away from the roll because you have to cut the roll, seal one side, flip the bag over. You know, there's a lot of steps there that I think I can eliminate by just having the right sized bags. Maybe I can have 3 different sized bags for, you know, one pair of jeans that's like flannel lined carpenters, you know, and then another bag for medium sized stuff, and then a smaller bag for like size 2 jeggings, you know.
Yeah, I've been thinking about doing vacuum packing. It seems like a really good idea to save on storage. I mean, I'll be able to maybe double up the amount I have stored in my totes if I vacuum packed it all.
Yeah.
Exactly why I started doing it, because I do not want to rent a place. I stay as profitable and as low budget as possible before I rent. You know, I mean, I need to like get every little inch of where I am. And that's why I started vacuum sealing.
Yeah, imagine those plastic totes behind you with something like this, right? And then you got bam, 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 25 in a row in there.
Is it a certain size vacuum sealer that you use? Because it seems like clothes would be a little bigger than what food would be.
It's all about the shortest dimension, right? So this is a roughly 13 by 7 or 8 or something like that. So you could put it into the machine this way, or you could put it into the machine this way, right? So
Right, I've got to go, guys. I've got to go pick my kids up from school.
See you, man.
See you later. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Hey, Matt. Hey, Matt. Are you worried? Are you worried about when the customer gets that and they open it up and it looks like poo, though?
I left one overnight that was vacuum sealed. So it was vacuum sealed for, I don't know, like 20 hours or something.
Okay.
And I opened it and the jeans looked just the same as they did before.
Good.
So it might look, the person might go, what the hell is this? But when they open it up and they have the jeans in their hands, they look just the same.
All right.
Yeah. Also, this might not fit into a flat rate envelope perfectly, because you can't smush it in there because it's like, not smushable. But yeah, so I might have to cut the bag to get it into the flat rate envelope anyway. I don't know.
And
what about, couldn't you just reuse the bag?
Reuse the bag again?
Yeah,
well,
I mean, if you ship like you normally would.
It's you got to cut the bag open, and every time you do that, it makes the bag just a little bit shorter every time.
Understand, but think about that maybe down the line too. That if you have a tab like that one bag that you just had with that much and you're sealing at the top edge, you may be able to reuse that 30 or 40 cent bag 5, 6, 7 times.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I don't know if it would be worth even keeping up with though, because it's such a small expense,
Yeah.
But it's a good idea.
It's just a thought, Matt. That's all it is, bud. Yeah. I just, I mean, if you're going to ship it out in a flat rate envelope and it doesn't quite fit, now you're going up 30 cents more to a bag. So I get the space. That's cool. And you're trying to reduce and do all the rest. That's amazing. But it's the next step, maybe.
Yeah. I like the idea. It's like you just got to weigh it out.
Yeah, yep. I wonder if you can experiment with one size smaller bag, or if they make different dimension bags that you can experiment with.
I've got 3 different sizes on the way here right now, and then whichever ones work the best, I'll just order bulk again. I'll order a whole bunch of them then. Also, I have this guy, the world's shortest hanger, which is going to help me go vertical, right? It's going to take up less space so I can have more, vertical space. Now, these were expensive. I got like a 20 pack or something of them from Amazon to see if they would work or not. And I got to figure out how to get these in bulk at like 10 cents a piece instead of like $1 each,
Yeah. They do have, that's how we photograph all of our jeans and clothes, our pants. And I think on Amazon, I got them a little bit cheaper, down to 20 for 30. So 75 cents a piece. I haven't found them bulked out, but I probably have 200 of those right now. So, and that's how we hang our clothes, once they've flattened out, put them on hangers and let them hang before we photograph them. But they work amazing and they don't show in the photos. It's not a lot of work. Then you can adjust them real fast and easy. Of course, I'm not using your throw it against the, the material wall type thing. We're still doing photos on a hanger. So.
Yeah.
Alibaba.
Yeah, Alibaba, that's got to be probably the route I go. Or maybe I'll, on eBay or Amazon, I'll try to reach out to the supplier and message them directly. Maybe they'll be able to give me a better quote for a higher amount. But of course, they could be a middleman as well or a drop shipper, so might be a dead end.
Hey, Matt, Uline has 14 by 14 on, I think it's like a overstock clearance for 1,000 for $40.
14 by 14 vacuum sealed
Bag.
steel bag.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
got to be a great deal. What's that?
And I
4
think it
cents
was
a
a
piece?
9 mil or I think 9 mil on Uline.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. I really wasn't paying a whole lot of attention today, so I don't know who has already said something and who hasn't said anything. So, anybody has anything else to say, definitely go ahead and say it.
I have a question. So where I'm trying to figure out the best place for me in my house to take pictures, but my problem is that my lights in my house have a yellow tone. So everything I take, a lot of the blues and the purples and the pinks aren't the right color when it goes through my phone. And I can't really do natural light because just the way my house is, I don't really get a lot of natural light and it's never enough light. And I have an iPhone, like a newer one, but it still changes my stuff to like, I can't change the light bulbs. My husband likes the yellow light bulbs. So like, is there a specific light that you guys use?
We ran into the same problem. I used to take photos in the living room of an old mobile home, right? So you can imagine what those light bulbs were like, and just cut the light off. That was the solution.
Okay.
Cut the light off and get one of those circle lights, white lights.
Would one circle light be enough?
Yeah, just get a lighting kit.
Yeah, you got to have some kind of lights, right? Like those. You got to have some kind of light on your photo setup. So you got to have some light. Just cut that overhead light off that's in the house.
Okay.
Yeah, because I noticed a big difference, especially when the lights, because I take photos underneath those ring lights, and then I take photos of the measurements underneath no lights.
Okay.
And when I was taking photos of the measurements underneath no lights, that's when you could really tell the difference with that above head light being on.
Okay.
You
Christine,
don't have to.
when you go to look at lights, like lighting kits or, whatever kind of lights you decide, like for instance, when I first started, I was just using the cheap stand behind the couch lights from Walmart that I could put, so they were like 15, 20 bucks. And they worked fine in the beginning. I've since upgraded, but look at your space. For instance, I had softbox lights, and they take a pretty good depth of space. And my setup is in the corner of the room, so it being there, it was very hard. Like I had to squeeze through the lights to get to the thing, and then back up and take the picture, and then squeeze back through to flip it or whatever. So it was really causing me a lot of headache and grief. So I recently just switched and bought a new set of lights. So I've wasted money along the way trying to figure it out. But I recently bought a new set of lights. These are doing really well, but they're small, they're compact, and I'm able to put them, if I'm doing a flat lay, I'm able to put them on each end of my shelf so that they're not in any way. Here, I'll show you.
Yeah, let me see. Because that's what I've been doing as a flat lay.
You're in the group?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna do a little video or some pictures of my setup here in a little bit and post it in the group so that Because I mean, all the ideas together is what helps us all grow, so.
Right. Yeah,
you
and
know, it's really good.
my issue too is a lot of time because I work full time still. A lot of times I have to do work at night. I don't get home until like 12 o'clock at night. And it's like I have no natural light. I need something that I can use, you know.
Yeah, just another lamp
Okay.
or just more lights that aren't that color. That's the
Here's
short,
your-
quick answer.
Yeah.